Hi, my name is Jay Morales, and I'll be talking about the causes of global warming. The first cause I want to talk about is the methane from cow manure. It is considered a greenhouse gas like carbon dioxide, but has 23 times higher the effect of carbon dioxide. Nitrous oxide, a powerful gas used for commercial and organic fertilizers. Methane, also produced through natural and unnatural resources like decomposition of waste, landfills, cow feces, and agriculture. Other causes would be like the human expansion of the greenhouse effect. Gases that contribute to the greenhouse effect are water vapor and carbon dioxide. Water vapor increases Earth's atmosphere, and carbon dioxide releases through natural processes like volcano eruptions and also a natural like deforestation. And the amount of methane produced is a big contributor to global warming. Some that farmers use also release nitrous oxide, which is another greenhouse gas. We also have chlorofluorocarbon, which is a synthetic compound used for industrial products. The consequences of the changes to the atmosphere from the greenhouse effect include the Earth becoming warmer. Warmer conditions leading to instability with climates in different regions, meaning some will become wetter and some will become drier. Oceans warming and melting glaciers, increasing the sea level, and some crops and other plants growing vigorously but higher temperature, and shifting climate patterns will change when the crops grow. We also have the burning of fossil fuels. When we burn coal or gas to create electricity, or even when we power our cars, we have carbon dioxide pollutioning into the atmosphere. In conclusion, I think no one really pays attention to this topic because everyone causes global warming themselves. Like the farming, the pollution, it can only be stopped if individuals start taking action.
My name is Rob Gillis-Dunlap. We have already discussed causes of global warming, and now I'm going to get into the effects that global warming has on the planet and on human life. One of the first effects we've seen is rising sea levels. Elevated temperatures are causing our glaciers to melt off at a rate quicker than new snow or ice can replenish them, and this has caused average sea levels worldwide to increase 8 inches since the 1880s. Another effect we're seeing is a longer wildfire season. These elevated temperatures are turning these lush forests that we had into kindle. Wildfires are sparking easier now, they're burning more intensely, and as a result, we're seeing widespread forest death in the Rocky Mountains. Hurricanes are stronger. North Atlantic hurricanes particularly have increased in intensity since the 1980s, and an overall effect on the weather. We're just seeing more prevalent rainstorms and flooding as a result of global warming. It's destroying our ecosystems. The increase of CO2 in the air has made our oceans more acidic, and the water is warmer, and it's just decimating our ocean ecosystems. Regarding human health, we're seeing more intense heat waves, and they're happening more frequently. And as a result, you're going to see more heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and the elevated heat conditions are going to worsen previous existing medical conditions. It's going to make it a lot harder for the particularly young and the elderly. They're going to feel the effects of these heat waves a lot more than your middle-aged or your average adult. Hotter climate will also lead to an increase in air pollutions and a longer allergen season. So even your middle-aged adult who has asthma is going to be greatly adversely affected by global warming because pollen is going to be 3 times its normal concentration for longer than it normally would have. These are just a few of the effects that global warming has had on the earth and on human life. And next we will get into the effects that global warming has on plant and animal life.
My name is Christopher Roxbury, and today I will be talking about how global warming affects plants and animals. As mentioned before, we are seeing such a huge change in our climate, and because of these changes, we're also seeing a mass shift in ecosystems that involve extinction, changes in pattern and life in general, or migration patterns in species that don't typically migrate as their life cycle. As mentioned before, we have oceans that are becoming acidic. This reduces the chances for the offspring to survive in clams, mussels, and crabs. Additional knowledge that we already have is that the hotter climates are making, as I said, permanent changes in a migration pattern in species that don't migrate in their life cycle. We see this in mosquitoes, birds, plants, but specifically in the European butterfly, as it has a 63% shift north in the past century. This affects the predators as well that prey on these species because it forces them to migrate with them or look for food elsewhere in their own territory. Again, the hotter, drier seasons are making forest fires more rapid, as discussed previously. This increase of forest fires does not allow the trees to have a compensating increase in the number of the seedlings that they're able to disperse, as well with the hotter climates are making a huge increase in bark beetle infestations, which initially kill any of the trees. The controversies behind global warming are one of two things. Man-made, that by burning our fossil fuels, we are influencing the climate change, as well with having all these other effects. Or it is not man-made, and the world is just going into its normal cycle that it goes into. We have scientists saying they both have studies and evidence on both sides, but they are not budging on saying how we can come together and stop or help any of these changes. Where things are going is that there's going to be more changes in their ecosystem if there is no effect to prevent such drastic changes in our climate. The oceans will become more acidic, and if so, the animals that rely on the carbonate ions to grow their shells to thrive, such as crabs, mussels, they will either have a loss of population or have an extinction altogether. And them being on the bottom of the food chain, predators will also migrate to look for food elsewhere. Higher water temperatures will have a 99% increase in the destruction of any coral reefs in the world. As well, higher levels of water in the ocean will destroy breeding grounds for turtles, birds, and other marine life altogether. Thank you for listening, and next we'll be talking about how we can prevent global warming from a man-made perspective.
Good evening. My name is Christian Plummer. As you already know, our topic is global warming. Today we've already covered what causes global warming, the effects it has on plants, animals, people, and the world itself, and politics and conventions around it. Today I'm going to give a brief interview of ways we can prevent global warming and also make this environment very healthy. There are numerous ways to prevent global warming, but today I'll give you 4 brief ways I feel like can really change the environment. First, let's start off with recycling. So when we throw stuff away and waste is burnt, it releases very toxic gas into the air, and that's what really starts global warming. So if we can limit the amount of waste we throw away and instead reuse those items, we can really change the environment. Another way we can prevent global warming is driving less, carpooling, walking, or riding our bikes. Everybody wants their own car, everybody wants to be on the road, but the more people on the road, the more carbon dioxide being released into the air, which is another reason that global warming is beginning. So if we can just carpool, ride with our friends, walk, or ride our bikes, we can really reduce the amount of pollution in our community. Another interesting way that we can prevent global warming is to plant trees. Now I know everybody is not a gardener and it may be too hot outside, but planting trees can really help. Trees use photosynthesis to take in a lot of the carbon dioxide in the air and release oxygen. As I mentioned earlier, carbon dioxide is the main source for global warming to begin. So the more trees we plant, the more carbon dioxide is taken out the air, the less global warming can start. This is something else we can look into helping our environment become healthy. And last but not least, we can try our best to conserve as much energy as we can at home. We can insulate our home, so we want to use the air conditioner as much. Also, we can use the sunlight to come in, so we don't have to turn on every light. We can make sure that all of our electrical appliances are not just wasting energy, and make sure they're completely turned off. I feel like these 4 steps can really make a change into this environment. I feel like global warming is becoming more and more serious every day. And I feel like with these 4 steps to start off, I feel like it can really change our environment to make it more healthier. Today we touched on a lot of different topics about global warming. We touched on what causes global warming, the major effects it has, ways to prevent it, and the politics and convention around it. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson and will soon be able to apply it to life. Thank you.